Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Militant Negro Network on YouTube. I am Mr. Militant Negro. You are now at my network, a place where truth, facts, and honest thoughts and opinions are spoken. Welcome, enjoy yourselves, and please subscribe. Ben Keita. Remember that name. Ben Keita. Keita. His body was found more than a month after he disappeared. In the woods, hanging. Washington State. Lake Stevens to be exact. Ben Keita, 18-year-old teenager, was reported missing November 27th of 2016. He was found on January 9th, hanging in a wooded area in Lake Stevens, Washington State. The police originally labeled this a suicide, but the family is asking the FBI to investigate the mysterious death of their son, who is a young Negro Muslim teenager. Now, I'm going to read this story to you from HuffingtonPost.com, after which I will do some commentary. And if you know me, you will understand that my commentary will not be nice. It will not be sugar-coated. It will not be bullshit. So if the truth and facts and an honest opinion bother you, offend you, upset you, turn this motherfucking video off now. Here we go from HuffingtonPost.com. The title is Family Demands Answers After Their Muslim Son Was Found Hanged in the Woods. Police found Ben Keita's body more than a month after he disappeared. A family in Washington State is asking the FBI to investigate. Ben M. Keita, 18, was reported missing on November 27th. The Lake Stevens Police Department posted on Facebook. On January 9 of this year, 2017, officials found that he had been hanged in a wooded area. Medical examiners originally ruled the death a suicide, but announced this past Tuesday, that the manner of death was still undetermined. Keita's family appealed to the public to come forward with any answers. The family says he was planning to graduate this year from Lake Stevens High School. Abraham Keita, his father, said Tuesday at a news conference hosted by the Council of American-Islamic Relations. He was already in the Running Start program at Everett Community College, and he was dreaming of becoming a medical doctor and work as a medical examiner. Now those dreams are over. Center of American-Islamic Relations has asked the FBI to open an investigation because we really want to get answers about what may have happened, said CAR's executive director for the Washington area. CAR is an acronym for the Council of American-Islamic Relations, CAIR. The FBI is communicating with our police partners, the group said in a statement they released. We are aware of circumstances of the individual's death and will review them with consideration of federal law. If warranted, we may conduct further investigation. A review does not necessarily result in the opening of an investigation. Now, if you just think about that for a moment, here we have, first of all, let's get the facts straight. This was not a man. The mainstream media, that lovely USA press, was to label this 18-year-old teenager a man, when in fact he is not a man. Ben Keita was an 18-year-old teenager, abducted and hung, executed, lynched in a wooded area in Stevens Point, Washington State. Let's be frank about this. Let's call a hate crime a hate crime. We seem to think that in America, the United Slave States of American, we can't call a lynching a lynching. We have to call it a suicide. When a young 18-year-old teenager hoists himself up into a tree somehow and hangs himself. The same teenager who was about to graduate high school and was looking forward to attending a community college to become a medical examiner. So this is not a kid hooked on drugs, running around in the street doing crimes. He wasn't a gang member. He was a kid, a teenager who had his sights set on a future as a medical examiner, which means he had planned, had mapped out a journey to become a medical examiner. So why in the holy fuck would he hang himself in a wooded area? And why would the body not be found from November to January if he did this himself? I'm going to move on to a site called Heavy.com. And the title of this article is Ben Keita, 5 Facts You Need to Know. The death of a Muslim teenager whose body was found hanging from a tree in a wooded area has drawn the attention of federal authorities, so says Heavy.com. The death of Ben Keita was initially ruled a suicide, but now authorities are reconsidering that finding. According to KIRO7, Keita, who was 18, was found hanging from a tree in Lake Stevens, Washington in November of 2016. I'm going to stop right there and ask this question. How many of you knew this when it happened in November of 2016? Because it was reported in the news. Yeah, me either. Number 1 of the 5 facts you need to know about teenager Ben Keita. The medical examiner changed the cause of death after oddities were noted in the case. The medical examiner initially ruled the death a suicide, but changed the manner to undetermined because of a series of anomalies in the case. For one, the rope was tied 50 feet up the tree, which is unusual for a hanging, and canines dispatched to the scene did not initially find Keita's body. So, whoever ruled this a suicide surmised that an 18-year-old somehow climbed 50 feet up into a tree and hung himself. 50 feet. Fact number 2. Keita's family says Keita was a happy person without suicidal tendencies. Keita was not depressed or acting suicidal before his death, says his father. Ben was a happy young man. We believe that somewhere someone must know something about this case, and we urge people to come forward and contact the police. He was initially reported missing. The missing poster for Keita says he was last seen at his mother's home in Lake Stevens around 1 a.m. on November 26, 2016. That's 2016, November of last year. Fact number 3. An Islamic organization wants federal authorities to investigate. According to Fox News, the Washington State chapter of the Council on American-Islamic Relations is calling for the FBI to investigate the death. We just want to make sure that the expertise, the experience, and the human resources of the FBI are brought to make sure everything is comprehensively investigated, no stone left unturned. It's a sad day in the world when the FBI gets to determine a case such as this, because everybody knows the FBI is corrupt and racist. Fact number 4. Ben Keita, who was in high school and about to graduate, wanted to be a doctor. Keita's father said in a news conference that his son was planning to graduate this year from Lake Stevens High School. Keita's father also said he was already in the Running Start program at Everett Community College, and he was dreaming of becoming a medical examiner and work as a medical examiner. So once again, here we have an 18-year-old teenager with dreams of being a medical examiner, about to graduate from high school, yet decides to commit suicide by hanging himself 50 feet up into a tree in a wooded area. Fact number 5 about Ben Keita. Police consider the case open until they receive crime lab reports. So if they consider this case open until the crime lab investigation is complete and the crime lab issues a report, who in the fuck labeled this a suicide on Facebook? Who in the law enforcement community of Lake Stevens, Washington, decided to take their happy ass on social media, Facebook, and talk about this case, which is an ongoing, open investigation? Back to what Heavy.com has to say. Lake Stevens police said in a statement, according to the New York Daily News, that the case remains open as they await results from the state crime lab after reports surfaced that they were going to close the case. So in other words, they were going to just close this case, write it off as a suicide because it's a Negro Muslim teenager who nobody gives a fuck about, so they think, until pressure was put on them being the police department, to do a thorough investigation. This is disgusting to me. Disgusting. How can a medical examiner determine that this was a suicide, then turn around and say, well, wait, there's some anomalies, so we're going to say it's undisclosed, undetermined? How do you reach the fact in the first place that it was a suicide and then publicly state this if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? That's my question. The answer is pretty simple to me. It's a black person, a Negro teenager. Nobody cares. Had this been a Caucasian 18-year-old found hanging in a tree, it would have been handled differently. And I am sick and tired of people in America, and this includes all people, no matter what your race is, no matter what your religion is. If you're a human being, if you are human, you need to be concerned that law enforcement and the medical profession linked with law enforcement don't do their jobs professionally and thoroughly because of the victim's skin tone. And that is what this is, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Keita, an 18-year-old Negro Muslim teenager, was not important enough to the Washington State Lake Stevens Medical Community Police Department to do a thorough investigation using the professional skills they are supposed to possess. He ends up on the slab in the morgue. The medical examiner says suicide because he was found hanging in a tree, 50 feet up in the fucking tree. This is a lynching and execution of a teenage Negro Muslim. And until the facts plainly prove otherwise, until there's evidence saying this young man unequivocally hung himself, it is not a suicide. I'm just so sick and tired of all this bullshit going on in America focused around racism. Racism is a disease. It's a disease that is eating away at the very fabric of America. It is killing the United States. It is killing the world. And people the world over, but especially in the United Slave States of America, ignore racism. Racism eats into the very core existence of humanity. Every single decision, every single thing we do on a daily basis revolves around skin color, around the nappiness and texture of a person's hair, the measurement of a nose, the size of lips, the color of eyes, whether I have melanin in my skin or not. These things guide us humans about everything we do. Every single second we are breathing oxygen. And this is disgusting and pitiful and sad. Nobody who is a person of color is ever judged on the content of their character, on their morals, on their scruples, on their accomplishments. Nobody who is a person of color is ever looked at the same way a Caucasian person is looked at, the same way a European person is judged. Nobody who is a person of color is equal in this world. Centuries, eons, this has been going on. Are we never going to tire of racism? Are we never going to tire of judging another person based on their skin color, based on how they look, who they love, what religion they worship, what faith they have or don't have? Why can we not allow people to live their lives as they see fit, which is supposed to be the basis for freedom and equality and liberty in America? My condolences to 18-year-old Negro Muslim teenager Ben Keita and his family, his friends, his loved ones. May you all find peace, and may the medical examiner's office, of which Mr. Ben Keita wanted to become a member of, may that medical examiner's office get off their fat, lazy fucking asses and do their job correctly, professionally, and ethically. Happy March to everybody. I'm out of here. Be well. Stay safe. Namaste.